Here, this is back to the doctorate. And obviously, you haven't seen one of these streams in a while because I haven't done any homework in a while, but it must be done. So, what's interesting about this assignment is as I'm looking through, there's this article that we had to read for class, and I'm going to fill out some information on I have to answer some questions and do some critical thinking based on this article. This is something that I read before, but uh, I will be kind of breezing through it again just to refresh my memory as it comes to um, taking my notes and stuff. But it looks like about 12 pages in total is what I need to do here. And this is the big assignment that's between me and really getting started on the last part of my summer classes, which is reading and kind of summarizing 3,000 pages worth of material. So this one has to get done if I'm going to have a shot at getting to any of that and finishing it in a reasonable time. It's September 1st, and I have pretty much till the end of December to get all the reading and reviewing done and to get those assignments submitted and those meetings with my professors, whom I also need to email and let them know that I won't be registering this semester just yet. So, yeah, interesting stuff, good times, and duty calls. So we got to do what we got to do. Well, let's get this organized. I'm gonna skim through here. This is the assignment over here on the right side, 10 to 12 page, double spaced, divided in two main parts. So let me actually start with that. I'm going to format my paper according to this. Um, yeah, open up these other things too. That should be the only one I need. And Word. Did I open this up already? I did. That's for a different class. So let me open up the pre-intensive. I'll save that as something else. Let me duplicate this real quick. Save a copy during intensive. Now, what I have to figure out, and this is, I'm struggling with the thought process here already because a lot can change with this thing. Now, up to this point, my doctorate has been based on student missions, and I do have a passion for that. But having been accepted into the military now as a chaplain, I wonder what the opportunities might look like to do some research in that space and what it could look like to apply the things I'm learning in this class into that space. Obviously, I won't know until I get there. Um, but it's like my studying and my thought and my passion is in one direction that I'm kind of moving away from in terms of my occupation. So, do I keep the research and the focus where uh, the current passion is, or do I line it up with where I'm going and what I'm doing to try to better align this stuff? And that's a scary proposition because uh, you're talking about it's give and take on both sides, right? Because if I stick with the student missions angle, while this is something that I love, I'm getting kind of further and further away from the place to implement it. But on the other hand, and so it's like I'm studying something that isn't directly contributing to my present ministry. But on the other hand, if I switch it up, then I'm going into literally uncharted waters because I don't know anything about it, and it's something I'll have to learn and grow on the fly. And there's a lot of work that I'll have to do on the back end to kind of learn and make sure that I'm on the right page with understanding of this. But even still, uh, that'll be helpful because it'll give me a critical and reflective look into the world where I am, like at the moment. So that's what I have to think of is how do I put these things together and which approach do I take? So for now, the dissertation topic will still be student missions, but as I go through this particular assignment, well, I don't know. Let's just say student missions for now, and we'll see. I'm gonna have military stuff in the back of my mind, chaplaincy stuff in the back of my mind. That's inevitable. So we'll see how it goes. And I'm not trying to write two different papers, but we'll see how it goes. That's all. That's the best I can say right now. Okay. So let's get this thing laid out correctly for the current assignment first. One. Let's get rid of all this. One. Can't type. Yep, context is it's gonna be the tough one already because, like I said, I'm not really sure which direction I wanna go here. Um, but let me get this thing laid out, and hopefully it it exposes itself as we go. Why did I do that differently? Didn't even space it out. Okay. Puts it back there. Come on. Okay. Formatting is always the tough part, but I'll end up turning all of these into subheadings as I continue. Sustainability is key. The hardest part. All right, we got evaluation criteria there. Let me make sure this stuff is all lined up. And for now, we're going to get rid of these double spaces. Not important right now. Line this stuff up. Get this bold. Thank you. Let's move these here. Change these to bullet points. Bop, bop, bop. And back. Right out. Yes. Now we're talking. Here. Line it up. Line it up. Okay, that'll work. Alignment there. Nice. Now, okay. Oh! Other paper actually has my definition of discipleship that I put earlier. I can start with that. breaks it down further, which is nice. This is my definition of discipleship. I think it comes down to a continual abiding and being with Jesus first, and showing what it's like to live with Jesus, and not merely telling about Jesus. It's both and. When we understand who we are in relation to God and then live in that practical reality, we are showing others that it's possible and realistic and practical to do it. It takes on a more tangible shape that people can see and emulate in their own ways rather than just being intellectual ideas that remain intangible for some. The supernatural belief has a natural extension into our worlds and lives, and I believe that can and would and will inspire others to do the same. Faith becomes the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen, and now this replicable process produces discipleship. What up, Beastie Boy? We out here doing some homework. It must be done. So, the continual abiding, right? That's where prayer culture, Bible centeredness, um, it touches on the nurturing. Abiding also relates to worship experiences. Is your worship experience abiding? Spiritual formation, are you being formed in the context of abiding? Is your leadership that you're trusting trying to emphasize abiding in Christ or looking to them as an individual? The sending aspect, I think it touches on that as well. When you're living in the practical reality of who we are in relation to God, that's a way of sharing your faith, serving others, impacting the society around you. It should result in holistic stewardship. And when you're talking about showing others that it's possible and realistic and practical to do it, now you're talking about developing leaders who can do the same. Follows down into the leading. It's future focused, showing other people that it's tangible and something that can be done. If that's what you're doing, the implication is that they're not doing it in their own lives right now. So by definition, it would be future focused. But I don't think that my definition touches on these right here necessarily. Resource stability. This seems like more of a structural aspect of discipleship from a church context. Like what what resources do we have available to put this type of program or system in place? Team health obviously implies a team, and that's more than an individual as well. So uh, it's more of a structural implication. Data informed, probably as well, as you have multiple people who could be a part of this team doing research, trying to figure out the trends, trying to see what works, what doesn't work, and then making decisions based off of that. Although, as an individual, you could be very data informed in your approach as well. So there's a learning component to where you're not just doing something because that's what they told you were supposed to do, but you're doing research to see what works in what context and what places, and seeking how you can apply those things in your own way, in your own context. And by doing that and encouraging people to think in the same way or a similar way, now this is how you're trying to replicate the process for people who want to abide first, who want to live out that reality and help others to live the same kind of reality. Yeah. So I think it does touch on all of these, but it's an expansion of it because my definition is not as specifically intentioned, because my definition is not as specifically intentioned to uh, these three: nurturing, sending, and leading. So it's interesting, but it's there. It's there. Okay, so now how do I take all of that and put it over here? Start with this. And I'll have Then I'll have to come back and space all this out later, but it's okay. This is supposed to be 12 pages spaced. Oh, also, side quest. Where's my book? So, as I'm doing this, it's cold in here, AC, you know what I'm saying? As I'm doing this, I'm also trying to get some reps in on a workout that I didn't do earlier today. It's Labor Day, so I stayed up late, stayed in bed later. Um, oh, let me bring that too because I'm gonna need this. So Monday's workout, I'm actually a couple workouts behind now. Sunday's workout is supposed to be like a push pull thing. Actually, no, it's not. It's just the run because I joined two together on Monday. I missed Friday's workout, which was squats. I'll be getting some of those in tonight. But Monday is the push. That's the grind day, which is mostly. Did I write this out in here already? I hope I did. I don't think I did. Yeah, the Monday remote. So a few different variations of push-ups, and some shoulder pressing and some shoulder PT. All right. So that's the workout. That's the blueprint right there. Trying to get these shoulders activated. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. That's what it is. But let me type out this first part and then I'll get a set of these push-ups in. That I had that written down. I didn't think that I did. Okay. So my discipleship based on biblical teachings, scholarly perspectives. Um, I'll say this. Observable and replicable. Cycle. There we go. So this is like the expansion of my definition. Um, and then let's go ahead and take this out of here. We're about the formatting later, but the point is we want to take up the space and then we'll format it later. Yeah, 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 yeah. All right. So that's my definition, kind of expanded a little bit. Now I'm going to talk about how it relates specifically to the things here. These being the metrics. The whole purpose of this article, The Thriving Church, is that there are a lot of times that people will talk about, are there really metrics? How do you know the actual condition of a church? These metrics can let you know what those metrics are, or not those metrics, what a set of metrics could be that you can look at to know how you're really being impactful. One of the questions I can't get over, um, I don't remember which article it was from, but the idea was if your church left your community or wasn't in your community anymore, would the community feel the vacuum that was left? In other words, is your church an active participant in the community so that if they left, the community is actually missing something? And this is interesting because when you look at a lot of churches these days, think of city structure and churches as they're usually set up, right? And cities how they're usually set up. If you go back in history, the church used to be the central structure of a town. Like the town was built around the church. Okay. Over time, obviously that's changed, but in short, what we see happen is that the church as the central pillar of a community, people came to the church who lived in that community. They lived in the community, they engaged in the community. So they go to church, they go to be a part of the church in the community, and the church ends up serving the community. It's related. The attendees, the people who participate at the church actually live in the community where the church is. Today it's different. Now you'll have a church in a community. Uh, think about how many churches you see around your community, right? But how many people do you know of that go to the churches right there that are down the street from you? A lot of times, and particularly in the Adventist sense, a church will be in one location and then you have members coming in from all over the place. They don't live in the community. They're from other places and they're coming to the church. But guess what? When church is over for that 2 or 3 hour span on a Sabbath morning, they go home. So they don't live in the community. They come in, they may engage a little bit with the community, but they don't live in the community, right? So how great could the impact be? It's hard to say. But I think on a baseline, it's pretty easy to say that it's much harder to impact a community that you don't live in and that you don't have all these real tangible connections to. Because if you're talking about discipleship being a way of life and then living with others in community to reproduce this faith and this belief in the lives of others, it requires community. And if you're not living in community with people, then you can't expect discipleship to happen in community. You know, sometimes you'll have a church that will go to a particular place and there isn't necessarily community present of the community presence. I'm saying this wrong. There isn't necessarily a presence in the community from the church that is in the community, right? But you'll have people from outside who will come in. They'll do some kind of seminar or services or something like that within the community. They'll bring a lot of people because they've brought in the people who are trained to do this and do that in terms of evangelism, and they may have a huge impact and bring a lot of people in. But when the hired guns, so to speak, when they leave, you're still left with the same church that may not necessarily have had an impact in that community. And now people who were impacted by these others who have come in and they felt a connection with are gone as well. So what does that do to the people who came in under the guise or the impression that the community was going to be a certain way? And now that the people who led the charge are gone, they're left to how the church had been operating when they didn't even know about it before, even when it was in even when it was in their community right there. So it's interesting, something to think about when it comes to ministry and how we're trying to organize discipleship, how we're trying to reach out. It cannot be something that we pop in and do and pop out and then we're good. You got to be in that community. Now, it may not always be possible to live in the community where your church is. But if that's the case, it just means that you have to be more intentional to being a part of that community, not just on a Saturday when you show up for church, but also throughout the week. You have to try to create more opportunities. This could come in the form of programming and different things that you have on a regular schedule because let's face it, people work and people are busy. So there's always going to be something else to do, somewhere else that you have to be. But how intentional, maybe that's the key word. How intentional can we be of setting these things in place and in motion in these communities so that way they can go without us necessarily needing to be there all the time? And that we can jump in, step in to something that's impacting the community when we're available to, and when we're not, the slack is being picked up, but the presence is there. People know that this church is here doing something for the community that it's in. It's not just a building on a block that we see a few cars at on the weekend. Something to think about. Okay, all of that. Now I have to expand here. Wait a second. And insights from the thriving church. Let me add this real quick. Okay. Uh, these two are kind of the same because it's this. Let me do this way. Got this from here back here in its rightful place. I'll just make this one section that deals with both of these questions after I get a set of push-ups. My wrists are sore. All right, what do we got first? Regular push-ups to start. Methinks. Let me write this out. May not get all of this done today, but do a little something. Got the exercise ball in the back so I can do my witties, which I also didn't do. Make it a point to get some handstand work in. I need to get to practice early. We'll see what I do in a couple hours here. Um, yeah, not worried about those. Curls are the last one. Next, put your mix down here. Pull-ups and flag. I have enough with push-ups that I'll be doing here in the next few moments. Okay, hard workout remote. Put witty on the list. Put shoulder PT on the list. Up, line push-up. Very shoulder press. Pike push-up. Arnold It's kind of a modified Arnold. It's not really an Arnold. Okay. So with that, I've done a whole lot of nothing today. Get this first set. So you mix it up by doing some regular full range of motion push-ups. And then at the end, when you feel like you're burned, catch a few of them prison half rep hack push-ups and go from there. 5 to 10 of those hack ones when you feel like you're out of juice. I'm out of breath. Shoot. Hold on a sec. Had to blow my nose a little bit. All right, we'll get back to this in a second here. Now I get to reflect on how the book expanded, challenged, or affirmed my understanding. To me, this comes down to the metrics. There are a lot of things that I guess I can just type this. Hold on a second. think this answers the question here. Challenged, definitely expanded. I wouldn't say affirmed because I didn't look at discipleship as being this comprehensive. I should probably say that. I will say that. Always come back and revamp this later. I can speak to the challenge as well. Zach, what's up, man? We out here doing a little homework, changing the game up. Not all gaming out here. Got to do what you got to do. This assignment was due a while ago, and I have to get it done so I can finish up or get to my other bigger assignment. So you got to do what you got to do. How you living, man? My guy Zach out here repping for the islands, my people. Oh, it's framework. That's what's up, man. Good to hear it. Still in Palau these days? Hey, appreciate it. That's a real one right there. All right, all right. Trying to get back out there next year. I gotta see. I know. uh, I'm hoping the opportunity presents itself. Um, as of last week, I've been accepted into the Navy as a chaplain. So I'm hoping that somewhere in there, I get the opportunity to come back to Palau. Uh, and I guess outside of the Navy, what I'm really saying is I hope that being in the Navy as a chaplain doesn't interfere with my plans and hopes to go to Palau to visit again. Yeah, it's fun. Like, oh, most definitely. I make it back to Palau. I'm live streaming everything. Gotta let people know about that good life. But yeah, it's been fun. Like I like doing videos and I like documenting things, but I don't like editing. So doing lives is the perfect middle ground for me because I can share, I can say what I want to say, I can show what I want to show, and then I don't have to worry about the editing on the back end. So that's one of the reasons I really like the lives. I wish I had something like this when I was out there before. Shoot, I'd have had too much fun with that. Gonna let everybody know. That'd have been too legit. That's a really good point. I like this. Tracks. Hey, sounds good, Zach. Thanks for coming through, man. Appreciate you. Looking forward to it. If you ever decide to play some Fortnite, let me know. We'll get you in the stream. That's my dude, man. Zach, one of my OG students, my first year in Palau, man. All grown up now. Yes, must be done. Must be done. I can't play on console. I'm not that good on PC, but I'm a lot worse on console than I am on PC. Hey. What's up? Opagong. How are you? Welcome, welcome. Got here repping for the people. You already know. Hey, I'm gonna do my best. Do my best. I want to next year. I'm hoping that I don't have any conflicts with officer school or anything like that. Yeah, that's the plan. That's the goal. That is the dream. Get back out there next year. It has to be done. It has to be done. It's three. Yeah, that's a big one too. All good. I'll touch on this one. Well, no, I'll put this one here because this kind of goes with. All right, let me get another set of push-ups in real quick. gonna change this laundry real quick. This is good stuff, man. I love working through this stuff. Let me get some more water, and then then I'll fix this. Okay. Actually, no. Let me go all the way through 4:60. See how much of this I can get done before 5. I need to eat before getting to the gym. Yeah. Hey, Lamine. It has been a while, man. Where you been? Ah, I see. I see. Time zones. You can only do what you can. Let me do another set of push-ups. Paragraph push-ups. Paragraph push-ups. Three sets down. $432. Boy, time is flying. But it's good to get started on this. Like I'm already about halfway done. Then be able to move on to the other part. 3,000. 3,000. I have too much fun with this. It's a good thing they let me speak in my own voice for these doctoral level assignments. I can't do this for like can't get away with this for a dissertation, but professors they know how I get down. Oh man, where was that passage? Ah, I have to come back and edit this too with everything. One more set of the regular push-ups here. All right. Corrections. All right, I'm gonna start from here. I need to eat something. I've had a smoothie and a protein bar all day. I gotta eat a little bit more. Hydrated, I think, to start the day. Didn't start drinking water until like noon, which was a mistake. So I'm gonna try to get through a lot more of this gallon of water, get some good food down, and recharge up before practice and exerting a little energy here tonight. So thanks for coming through. Stay tuned. I'll be back on to talk more about the doctorate and these assignments, but I'm having fun in this one here. Just want to make sure that my mind can stay up to par so I can keep producing uh, the content that I would like to on this paper.